Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Today is Tuesday, the 24th of February. Here we are at Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students and other interested people on their journey through this life. Right. That's why we're here, to help our students and other interested people on their journey through this life. Okay, where's my prop? Buried. Okay. So this is day 2 of week 1 of our neuroscience-oriented program. Day 2. This is a 4-week, 7-hour per day. No, it's a 4-week, 7 days per week, 4 hours per day neuroscience-oriented program. And it is for people who are in the state pen. Okay, that's who it was designed for. But us mere mortals can do it too. But that's where we are. So we go through this every day, 7 days a week. We do it for about 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes-ish, sort of, but not really. And yeah, so that's what it is, to help our students and interested people navigate through this life with the belief that this is not it. This is what it is now, but upon death, there is something more, there's something else. So while we're doing that, I'm going to try to multitask and make my coconut oil infused coffee in my special cup. Do not runneth over. So I pour from my heated cup into my drinking cup that works to bonk, bonk. Uh-oh. Unfortunately, I'm not supposed to spill the coffee. Okay, all kinds of issues that we will eliminate. We will eliminate them in editing, right? Yes. Okay, good. Good. So what do they say when they say cheers when you're having a cup of coffee? Here's mud in your eye. Not too shabby. Okay, so here we are, day 2 of week 1. Week 1 is our orientation and overview. And our orientation overview, it's what are we doing here? And the basic goal from a neuroscience, as Yuval Harari would say, neuroscience is who am I and why do I behave the way I do? From a neuroscience perspective, not a psychology, not a philosophy, sociology, cognitive behavior therapy, neurolinguistic programming, not from any of those perspectives. This is from the perspective of what the heck? This is from the perspective of neuroscience, my neurons, and on a cellular and subcellular level, this 100 trillion cells. None of them know who I am. None of them care who I am. Yet somehow it comes together. So that's what we want to do, is understand that to the extent where we can dial in who we need to be right now. That's all we need to do. Dial in, who do I need to be right now? And number one, perceiving myself as a colorful nut, not taking myself too seriously, because it's just life. And life includes suffering, but it's only temporary. We can struggle through it, right? What, not a bevy? We'll just struggle through it. We'll just keep moving forward, like Winston Churchill says, right? When you find yourself in hell, keep marching. Yeah, jawohl. Okay, so today is Tuesday. That means we're going to be at the TV station. TV station, we is going to be doing to this week's show. Yeah, it's going to be cool. Right. Correct. That's number one. Number two is what? I will be in Las Vegas today for a meeting with a promoter who takes a bite out of something. Not sure what that meant. Take a bite out of something. And then at 2:30 with David Kohlmeyer, doing a podcast for him, for us, for our show that we will run on TV. Boom. Cool. Right. Yes. OMG. Wow. Tell him I say hi. Okay, I will. Tell him you say hi, not that you are high. What? Okay. All righty then. All righty then. LOLLLLL squared to the infinite power. Seth Godin. Let's talk about, what does Seth Godin have to say. We had some technical difficulties today. And Seth Godin, where to go? Some real bugs in the machine. Uh-oh. Something's up. Hopefully you can see me. My screen just, okay, we're back. Hi on life. Okay, let's see if I get, time is the wild card. There are 2 feet of snow blocking your car from the road. This is a problem. Picture that, 2 feet of snow blocking your car from the road. Except it's not a problem if you don't need to leave the house for a few days. The snow will melt on its own. And it's not a problem if you had decided to move to the island of Saba a few years ago. It never snows there. Traffic on the way to an important meeting is only a problem because we didn't leave 20 minutes earlier. The rent that's hard to cover after a vacation, same thing. The real world feels like the source of our problems, but our decisions over time might be the actual culprits hiding in the corner. Instead of treating time as a given and the real world as an impediment, what happens if we accept the real world and make different decisions about time? Muy interesante. Okay. All right. So I'm working without my worksheet because there are technical difficulties. You can't put an AI coworker designed for Windows on a Linux machine. It don't work. It don't. So yesterday I figured out a workaround, but I thought I'd solve the problem. I did not. Now it's back with a vengeance. It's fighting back. Next, okay, day 2, week 1. Week 1, overview and orientation. Orientation, why are we here? We're here to answer 2 fundamental questions. Who am I? Why do I behave the way I do? Okay, day 1, my brain, Daniel Amen, we saw that yesterday. The brain can be easily damaged. It's the consistency of soft butter, and our skull has many bony ridges on it. There are 5 ways to damage our brain: alcohol, drugs, traumatic brain injury, brain disease, and something growing on our brain, cyst or tumor. Those are the 5 main ways the brain is damaged. The good news is the brain can, to a certain extent, be repaired. That's called neuroplasticity. We can relearn things. We can rewire our brains. Dr. Amen, Daniel Amen, who gave yesterday's talk, describes what he does as scanning the brain, seeing what's wrong with it. Which of those 5 things is the problem? Where are the problems? And then creating a brain smart program, a way to rehabilitate the brain. Boom, bingo, bango, bongo. Next, today, Jordan Peterson. Oh, brain smart program. So for here, the thing that we wanted to, our takeaway is this is a brain smart program. That's what it is. But our focus is how to navigate through this world. He's mostly involved in how do you remember the past and the people around you, who people are, etc. Ours is how to navigate forward, but it's a brain smart program. Okay, day number 2 today. IQ. How reliable is it? And the answer is extremely reliable. Extremely reliable. And it started with the government trying to figure out bringing in massive amounts of people and sorting them into where they can be the most effective in the war machine. And part of that was deciding there is a level of IQ that is so low you can't take people in. There's nothing they can do of value. They can cause problems, but they can't do anything of value. And that's somewhere 85, 87, something like that. So to be able to get into the armed services, you take an IQ test called the ASVAB. And depending upon your score, they give you certain jobs. They send you on certain learning paths. And then, but if your IQ isn't high enough, they won't take you. Why? Because there's nothing they can train you to do. And about 10% of the population has an IQ that's low. They can't get into the military. And of course, the military has a vested interest in bringing in as many people as they can, sorting them, filtering them, and sending them to different places depending upon their IQ. But some people, there's nothing. So it's about 10% of the population, according to Jordan Peterson. For the rest of us, for those people who do have an IQ, every job has an IQ range. Every job has an IQ range, like an effective IQ range. Yes, you can put somebody with an IQ of 50 into a job of being a brain surgeon. You can say, go do it, but they will fail. So we're talking about effective. And the idea, fast forward because time is racing, the idea is to know what your IQ is, number 1, and 2, to know the IQ range of the jobs that you're interested in and jobs that your IQ meets, matches. So if you have an IQ of 106, you should have a job where 106 is between here and here. And it's actually at the 75th percentile, or the top 20, at number 25. So you're not up at the top because then it tends to look boring. And you're not down here because then it tends to look really hard. You don't want to be in the middle because then you kind of just disappear. You're not good, you're not bad, you're not memorable, you're not on track to be promoted, etc. If you're at 25, you're recognized as good and somebody who could be promoted, right? And if you look at the Peter Principle, you go study that book that came out about 50 years ago, you see that people tend to get promoted to their level of incompetence. So if you start out here, they're going to move you to a job here, and then a job here, and then finally you're going to end up in a job like here where you're not competent. You're not good at the job, but you keep getting promoted to the next highest level, next highest level. So employees tend to be promoted to a level above their competence. You need to know what is your IQ and what is the IQ range. Wonderlic is the test. We used to give people, Watanabe used to give people the Wonderlic test and grade the test. Lucy was mainly the one grading because she was very fast at it. The Wonderlic test, you take the Wonderlic test, you grade it, and then we give you a sheet that shows you the kind of jobs that fit your IQ. And now that's only part of it because, you could have an IQ that says you need to be an iron worker, a welder, or something like that. But physically, you might not be able to do it. So that's another component. But know your IQ. Know your IQ. If your IQ is too low, the job tends to look hard. The other employees look at you in a not favorable light because you're not good at the job, and your employer looks at you as not good at the job, but hopefully they have enough experience to say, oh yeah, everybody starts out that way. You'll be fine in a few months. And they give you some leeway. If your IQ is way up here, the job looks boring and your coworkers look stupid. So you want to avoid these jobs. But again, the mental part is only part of it. You have to physically be able to do the job and emotionally do the job. So for me, for example, I could physically be a veterinarian. I could mentally be a veterinarian, but emotionally, I would not be very good at it. So there's more components than IQ, but you could have the other two things. I really love this job, man. I really love it. My emotions are there. Physically, man. So physically, I can do it. Emotionally, I can do it. But mentally, I can't do it. Doesn't matter how much I really want to do it. And I can do it. If I don't have the mental ability to do it, then that takes me out of the game. And that's probably the harder of the three aspects to get, would be the mental side. The physical side's pretty obvious. Does this job involve manually? Yeah, you got to be able to lift 50 pounds. Okay, well, all day long? Yeah, okay, I can't do this. Some people would say. So that's not good for them. What do we do? Oh, well, we wash dead bodies. Emotionally, I can't do it. Pretty easy to figure out. The mental part is the hardest, and so we focus on that here, but there are the other two components, and we've got to wrap it up. Watanabe, how is school? How is school? How about sending me a text? And cut.